Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Red Hot Talk once again. And this week we have some interesting thing to talk about because this is News Week. We're going to talk about a lot of things been happening around us, and most of you may have tuned in because of one very thing that I put on the thumbnail, which is a brand new MFT lens, and that's why you guys are turning in, right? MFT stuff. So we're going to talk about it, of course. I have right here so we can all see about that, and also we're going to talk a little bit about some interesting news that being developed in China, and also Rod has some pretty cool stuff to show us. Some brand new AI features in the software on One, correct?
Yes, that's right. On One Photo Raw 2026.4 Max.
It's going to get really confused. It's going very confusing now, isn't it? Every software now. Yeah. And they have like 12.6.2. You know, if you want a new feature, you're going to go 12.2.5. And yeah.
Well, it's quite hard work because I've been commissioned to do a whole bunch of get a whole bunch of photo editing software reviews up to date. So I'm starting to find you have to quote the version number in the name just to make sure people understand you've reviewed the latest one.
Yeah.
So
So it's interesting, of course. So we're going to tell you all about that in just a moment because it is very impressive. Rod literally just emailed me the photographs. I'm going to show it to you guys as well so you can see exactly how good it is or how bad, depending on the point of view. We can talk all about that. So MFT, let's start off with MFT. Just remind, to everybody that since late last year, I have been talking about MFT is making a comeback. MFT is gathering momentum, and I've been talking about it literally through the years now. Beginning of the year, we talked about the new Chinese company is going to make MFT cameras. They officially join the Micro Four Thirds Alliance, and Lumix all of a sudden popped out an L10, which technically not a Micro Four Thirds camera, but it is a 4/3 size camera. But it's kind of give us Micro Four Thirds users a little bit of a hope that something is happening.
should we consider ourselves 4/3 users?
4/3,
so we're not restricting ourselves because we're fans of the format, aren't we?
Yeah,
it's a good format.
Yeah,
it's big enough to be good and small enough to be portable and inexpensive.
I think so. I think there's a few points that we want to talk about. I mean, I think you brought a couple of points straight away. Is small and it's good enough. I think these are really particular points that I want to really going into in just a moment. But I think now with the renewed interest in this particular format has brought a lot of attention to businesses. And what does that mean is that now a lot of the third-party manufacturers were obviously competing in the full-frame and APS market for God knows how long now, and it's come to the point that they are now fighting with blood. You can see that they're discounting the products. They are really trying to have a really hard fight in the battleground now, trying to get the users to buy the lenses, and you could go ahead and just Google any full frame lenses from third party, you probably end up with hundreds now. It's kind of back in like the old days of Micro Four Thirds when everybody was making Micro Four Thirds lenses, and we had that kind of reach back in the days. But ever since that, the market was shifted towards the larger format, and we're seeing basically but literally one or two manufacturers has given up the Micro Four Thirds market altogether. They were just making full frame lenses and APS-C lenses, full frame in particular. These really their main the concentrations and focus. So now, what happened this year is I think because of the Chinese company, the Sondian has finally joined the Micro Four Thirds Alliance and announced that they are going to make some interesting Micro Four Thirds cameras. And because in China they may not be known in the West, but in China they are pretty well known. So even though they're not like the premium brand, just like the traditional camera brands, but they are known locally as a consumer electronic company. So what that means is they have reach. So if they can produce very affordable cameras, that could potentially broaden, this Micro Four Thirds reach to many Chinese people. and after that we should have some halo effect going into the west, like to the lower market, and eventually it's going to all benefit to the overall Micro Four Thirds market size, and whoever making Micro Four Thirds subs should benefit from it, including the original founders, the Lumix and also OM System brand. So we are hoping to see that. But just to kickstart it, I have right here possibly the first autofocus Micro Four Thirds lens for a number of years now by third-party manufacturers. Because before that, I think the only couple of companies that I know of that making autofocus Micro Four Thirds lens was Sigma. They did a couple of Micro Four Thirds mount lenses, and then also Yongnuo from China. They made some autofocus lenses as well, but that's about it. I think all the others were making practically manual focus lenses. Lauer and all the others, they are great lenses, but none of them was autofocus. So this is the very first Micro Four Thirds lens that has autofocus. If I just bring it up, so just that show you that I'm not lying to you guys. So it's got electrical contact. Come on, product showcase. There we go. And so it is autofocus. It's got the mount there, and if I dare to say that this is actually the very first third-party Micro Four Thirds lens that is full metal. This guy is actually metal.
Okay.
So we haven't seen that. We haven't seen that at all, apart from manual lenses. But then autofocus lenses, apart from OM System and Lumix, which you have to talk about the high-end stuff like Panasonic Leica branded product, or the pro lenses from Olympus had the metal build. But this is metal build.
How much is it, Jimmy?
$150. So it's very cheap.
I'll be interested to hear from you what it's like. I know that the Lumix 25 f1.8 is pretty cheap.
Yes.
But it is a fairly cheaply made lens, so it'd be interesting to find out. And the OM System 25mm is quite relatively expensive compared to that. So
well, because they recently updated to weather sealed and full metal as well, and so they have bumped the price up at the same time. But the plastic version, if I remember correctly, it was about just over $200 or $250, that kind of mark. I think street price. You know, the original price was not that low, but then towards the end, after so many years, the price has come down a little bit.
I never saw it. I always tended to see it nearer 300, but maybe it did come down a bit in some stores, but I think it's a more expensive lens. But no, it's interesting. I had the Lumix 25mm for a while. It is good performer. I actually found it a bit digital and a bit contrasty. I don't know whether that's just
the Lumix version.
Yeah.
Well, I never quite used the Lumix version, but I do like the Olympus version.
Yeah, it is. It's so sharp.
Yes.
It's incredible.
Yes. Yeah. It's actually very, very good. And so this lens, by the way, it comes with all kinds of accessories. So for that price, it comes with a metal lens hood.
Oh, I love those square hoods.
Metal lens cap, metal lens cap. Everything's metal, so it's giving us value for money straight away. And if you take out the lens hood, this is literally a pancake lens. If I try to focus it.
Focus, there we are.
Come on, product showcase. Come on.
Oh, Jimmy,
it's trying to lock onto my face.
You're going to have to get a Sony, aren't you? You're going to have to get one of these cameras.
So you can see it's actually very thin. It does remind me of the Panasonic 20mm 1.7. You can have that form factor. Very thin, very light as well. Well, when I say light, it's actually heavier than the 21.7 because it's full metal. But because it's not a very big lens, so it's still a fairly light lens that could fit well in any Micro Four Thirds camera bodies, including the smaller ones.
So let's hope they make some more.
Yeah,
let's hope they make some very wide primes.
Well, when I spoke to them, and they actually told me that this is not the last one. So that's all that they can say to me. So that could be some more coming. So that's all I can say so far.
Well, I think it's if you're already into the OM system, you might have the OM 25 1.8 already. But if you've got, say, an older pen, or you're just dabbling, or you just got an EM10 Mark IV and you want to try a prime without spending a lot of money, that sounds a good way to do it.
Well, just on that topic, let me bring down the Pen F and mount the lens on so you can see exactly what it looks like in terms of size and thing. Yes.
That square lens hood, that does it for me.
Oh yeah, of course. I love that. I love that lens hood there. All right, okay, I've got the Pen F here, and let's see what it looks like on the Pen F. I haven't tried this yet. I've been mounting on my OM3, so this is the very first time I mount it on the Pen F body. Okay, let's see what it looks like now. Okay, right, ready for that? There you go. It gives you that like a deluxe look, doesn't it? Yeah, but it looks good. It looks good.
Yeah.
I think it looks all right.
Does it focus quite nicely? Does it focus quickly?
Well, that you have to stay tuned for my review. But in short, it is actually not bad at all. And I think many people have been asking if this lens performs similarly because of the form factor. They were assuming that it's kind of very similar to the 21.7 from Panasonic, which was not a very fast lens to focus. I would say that this is faster than that, definitely faster than the 21.7.
That's a relief.
And not as silent as the Olympus 25 1.8, not as silent. You can hear the motor, but not loud. But you can just about hearing it. But on the street, when you're walking on the street, you won't hear it just because the street noise is quite high. So you won't notice it unless you're in a very quiet room. Overall, I would say that it's pretty snappy, very snappy. The AF. It's not going to be a sports lens, and I think that the Olympus 25 1.8. I can't say for the Lumix 25 1.8, but the Olympus/OM 25 1.8 AF motor is faster. So this is slightly behind, but it's not slow. So it should be fine for daily snaps. So it should be it's actually pretty good.
Because I found the Lumix 20 a bit painful.
That's what everybody said.
But you have to be careful with that with pancake lenses. Very often, it's the autofocus speed that's the first thing to go.
Yeah.
Not always, but very often. So you know, it's one of those compromises.
But it is a very slim lens. Once again, if I take out the lens hood, it's a very, very slim lens. And
that seems a very flat front element.
Yes,
wide, flat front element.
So this is the Olympus. This is the Olympus zoom lens. You know, the 12 to 40.
14 to 42.
14 to 42. Yeah, it's basically the same size.
It's very similar.
Yeah, very similar size. And this is a very respectable usable range and aperture. So it's a standard fit, 25 and with a 1.8 aperture. So this is really good.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, and I think everyone's talking about this square lens suit.
That's what I want. That's the must-have.
Yeah, and they are onto something. SG Imaging, and if you Google them, their website is accessible by the West, and some Chinese website may not, but their website is accessible. That you can see that they actually don't have that many lenses in the lineup, so very limited. They're quite small company, and now they are making a lot of autofocus lenses, and I'm really glad to see someone new. Instead of fighting with the big boys with all the full frame and APS-C lenses, they are offering micro four thirds options as well. So if they continue with this, and they could be, having a first go at MFT, and people wanted to autofocus MFT lenses, they really practically they're one of the two options you can get at the moment. Yeah. That'll
be interesting. I'll look forward to finding out whether it's good or not.
Yes, so you guys will stay tuned for my review, and because I have taken a lot of shots last week, which you will see them in my review, and just in a very short summary, that I'm pretty impressed with the performance, especially when you consider the price. It's only $150, so it's a pretty low price point. So
it's pretty good for metal lens, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's not weatherproof, but that's not something that worried me too much. But
yeah, well, funny enough, let me just quickly open this one up again, and it is weather sealed.
It is. Isn't it?
It's got a
gaskets then. Yeah,
it's got a gasket. It's got a gasket at the mount.
Yeah.
In fact, all the autofocus lenses, I tested the full frame 35 f2.2, also has weather sealed as well. So yeah, they are giving us everything for the price, so which is surprising. And but of course, you know, like we don't know the long term durability, you know, reliability. This is still a brand new company, but fairly rarely I see lens breakdown or malfunction unless you drop it or bang it or, you know, do something silly with it, and they tend to last in, you know, and well, at least a few years anyway. But to be honest, for $150, and even if it does go, just get another one.
It's not my favourite focal length, I have to admit, but it's still interesting.
You want an 8mm autofocus, do you?
I find for a walk around lens, I'd rather have a 35 or a 40, I think. But you know, you adapt to whatever you've got, don't you?
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm excited. So let's go back to the whole 4/3 movement now, shall we say? So 4/3 movement is definitely gathering a lot of momentum here, because since this lens was announced in China, even though the Chinese market weren't particularly keen on the micro 4/3 platform, I think most Chinese love full frame domestically. But when this lens came out, it did generate quite a bit of buzz. So it's really kind of showing some degree of I wouldn't say hope, but a light on the platform itself. So does it mean Chinese are also aware of this platform because of the so many recent news about the new company joining the alliance, and this company are known in China as well, and now we got lens company making micro 4/3 lenses. It kind of like everything kind of happening around the same time, and he's kind of signaling something big coming.
Nobody's being sued over 4/3 at the moment, so that's going to be encouraging for people trying to find a platform they can legally enter.
Yeah. Well, speaking of soon, we're going to come to that in a minute.
Yeah.
But I think, because they, if they join Micro 4/3 Alliance, I'm not sure SG Imaging whether they have joined the Micro 4/3 Alliance, but I don't think it's that expensive to join, from what I understand. Unlike, you know, if you want to make Nikon Z or Sony E, for instance, I think that if you really officially join the panel, they, you know, the upfront cost can be quite significant. And Micro 4/3, on the other hand, is almost like open source in some ways, and of course you have to pay for certain licensed technology to be used, but overall it's significantly lower than all the other platform. So it's definitely seeing some sign of growth in that area, and I'm really glad to see finally another third-party lens makers are making Micro 4/3 lens. And I am now, come to think of it, now I am very looking forward to other big boys in China, like Laowa and Viltrox and TT Artisans, 7 Artisans, are going to make Micro 4/3 AF lenses. And if they start to make them, and we are going to have a second wave of Micro 4/3 lenses coming up. And to be quite honest, Laowa will be in the best possible stance when it comes to making AF lenses, because they already have a bunch of Micro 4/3 lenses. Optically, they're all very, very good. All they need to do is transfer that into an autofocus body.
That's all they need to do. I think it's probably a bit more difficult than that.
A bit more than that, but you know what I mean. So because they already know how to make Micro 4/3 lenses, so it's not going to be as challenging as someone starting from scratch. And then because Micro 4/3 lens is a little bit different to APS-C and full frame. So Laowa is got some head start if they are willing to do Micro 4/3 stuff. Viltrox, you never discount them, because they seem to be very aggressive when it comes to making money. So if they see the Micro 4/3 market is bubbling up, I'm pretty certain they're going to be on board very, very quickly.
We'll see how that pans out. I did hear a different slant on that particular lawsuit, and it's been suggested that it's not Viltrox lenses that are the problem, but that Viltrox might have plans to make its own Z-mount camera.
I
heard that came up as a notion in one of the websites I follow.
I have heard similar thing yesterday night when I was reading more stuff, and then It's going to be interesting though, because like I said, at some point, someone in China is going to make digital camera. At this moment in time, it's very limited. You know, the only digital camera with an interchangeable mount is Yongnuo, who makes Micro Four Third camera, and I don't know if it's officially or unofficially, but then they are on sale in China. But I don't see anybody else making actual digital cameras with interchangeable mount in China. So, but this will happen. They're already making lenses. It's only a matter of time. It's only a when, it's not if. So when they're going to make them. But whether they're going to develop their own mount, we don't know yet. But if Viltrox is thinking of making a Z mount camera,
my understanding is that Viltrox has joined the L mount alliance. So
right.
It might not be Nikon Z, it might be L mount. If Viltrox ever were to make a camera, L mount would seem to be the more sensible thing to do.
Yes, they have officially joined the L mount alliance, and I'm actually reviewing the L mount lenses now, and they just sent me the 28 f4.5 chip lens, what they call it, basically like lens cap lens, one of those real body cap lens, really thin ones. So I've got one of those, and for L mount, and they have been, that lens is released on the E mount and Z mount already, so this is not a new lens. It just repurposed into L mount cameras, but they have officially joined it. That means that potentially they could make L mount cameras, and so it's Micro Four Third. I think I'm not entirely sure whether Viltrox still a member of Micro Four Third, because they were a Micro Four Third member way back, because I have a few Viltrox Micro Four Third Cine lenses, so they have made Micro Four Third lenses before, just not photographic lenses. Most of them were video lenses, so it's gonna be very, very interesting to see whether Viltrox is gonna make some AF Micro Four Third lenses in the coming months.
Very interesting. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So since you talk about lawsuit, let's talk a little bit about something. Let's remind ourselves about the Nikon versus Viltrox case. And obviously, there was a very big buzz towards the beginning of the year, saying that Nikon was filing some copyright lawsuits in China. So the court hearing was starting in March this year in Shanghai, but for some reason, since the beginning of the hearing, we haven't heard any updates or news since. It's gone very, very quiet. Even locally, there's no report on that. And guess what? Remember, there was a time just about before the lawsuit starting to open, let's say February time, you see a lot of third-party manufacturers has pulling the Z-mount lenses out off the shelf. Remember that there was report so many people like TT Artisan, Seven Nothing, they're pulling the Z-mount lenses out of the catalog or the lineup in the website. Really? They did, to that extent, so they were worried. But guess what? They're back again. So they're all back. And so I don't know whether they hear something that we haven't in the West. And so does that mean that they have resolved it? Does that mean that there's nothing to do with the lenses, like you mentioned earlier? It could be something else altogether. So all the lenses are back in the lineup, and you can also, once again, buy all these Z-mount lenses from third-party retailers or even directly from them. So they are back in stock now. So I'm not entirely sure exactly what's going on there. I'm pretty sure, maybe in the next few months we will hear something official, or we may never do, and then somehow just this whole case is going to disappear by itself.
That tends to be the usual thing. You never get an official outcome. It just goes away, and then weeks or months later you think, oh, that seemed to go away. What happened then? Yeah.
But, obviously to us, consumers and users, our concern is obviously, whether our existing Z-mount lenses will continue to function and use in the Z-mount body. And then also whether what the future holds for third-party Z-mount lenses. I think that will be the main concern for Z-mount users, of course. And so that was always a big if. And I think for the moment, it does look like that the case has kind of gone away and things are back into normal from the looks of it. So that may be good news for us, and I wouldn't bet on anything because you never know. However, I still continue to use the Z mount lenses. I haven't updated any firmware or anything like that, so everything still functions as it should. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. But that's one case. The other case that really caught my eyes is actually something else. Right. We all know that there are two big giants in China are known for their respective technologies. First of all, one company, Insta360, as the name suggests, they are the pioneers in 360 technologies. They have been the dominance in the 360 camera category. They've been releasing so many different products for 360. Late last year, they released their first 360 drones. And now you can see where I'm coming from now. DJI, on the other hand, is a dominant company who are making flying cameras, so drones. So they are the big boys in the drone market. They literally dominated worldwide, have over 90% of market share. Just no one can compete with DJI when it comes to drones, right? And but we all know that DJI has diversified itself quite nicely over the past few years. They started making action cameras. And they also making some little tiny gimbalized cameras like the Pocket series of camera. By the time we reached Pocket 3, which we released a couple of years ago, it has become the mainstay. They were selling like iPhones, basically. They were selling left, right, and center. It's sold out online and store for many, many months. And it has become a viral success. So they're becoming really good at that. And guess what? Late last year, they released a 360 camera. So what happened? Now Insta360 making drone, and now DJI making 360 camera. Well, these two boys are, basically looking at each other. Right, what are you guys doing now? You're treading on my turf here. So this is the lawsuit, basically. So I think that when the drone came out and DJI wasn't happy, so DJI sued Insta360 of certain drone technologies that the Insta360 claim to use in their drone. And the latest being the new Pocket series of camera, because the Pocket 4 has come out. But it's not about the Pocket 4, it's actually about the new professional version of the Pocket, which is the Pocket 4P, which got dual lens in the module, right? And Insta360 has announced the Luna, which also looks almost a clone to the DJI 4P.
Remarkably similar in appearance.
Yeah, it's got dual lens capabilities. The only difference between the two is that the Insta360 has a detachable screen unit, so you can pull it out from the main body and use it remotely. And so that is the main difference there. But regardless of how you look at it, they look almost identical if you put them side by side. So DJI obviously not very happy once again. Why are you copying? Why are you taking the inspiration of our lovely camera? They are not
our brilliant idea and stealing it and trying to ride off the back of our success. That's what they're thinking.
Yeah, so they are not happy. So there's a brand new lawsuit about this new camera. This seems to be ongoing. And again, the drone one hasn't even been settled. And having, again, it's very similar to Viltrock's case. We never heard about that again ever since it was talked about. This is the latest one. They may privately sort something out between them two. But at the moment in time, it's quite hard to tell which one is going to go, or which way is going to go, or which one's going to win. Because more critically, in China at least, the Luna is selling cheaper than the DJI 4P. So it's something that it's like tit for tat at the moment, and it's quite hard for the two companies to resolve this kind of dispute, because they have almost identical technologies there. And even like DJI has the Osmo 360, which is basically another 360 camera that rivaling the X4 and X5 cameras. To a lot of consumer, I mean, obviously we like that, right? We like the more the merrier. The more, that means more competition. That means that the pricing is going to be more competitive, and we like that. We like that to see more products. But from a business point of view, especially from DJI's point of view, they are so used to being the dominant in technologies, especially some things that they're good at, right? Like gimbals and drones, and they're really good at those stuff. So when someone trying to make a drone, someone trying to make a gimbalized camera, they will be like, oh, no, what's going on there?
Well, I think possibly it's because it's a company of the size of Insta360, because this is not the first competition that DJI has had for its pocket cameras.
Yep.
So Feotech, we don't hear much from Feotech these days, do we? But
yeah,
they
no,
have a
don't.
range of pocket cameras which are almost, which are visually identical to the DJI Pocket series. And a year or so back, I was unfortunate enough to review an Agfa Photo handheld pocket gimbal camera, which is of average performance. So obviously DJI wasn't very worried about that, but I think it's a company like Insta360 can produce an extremely compelling product, whereas the other rivals to date have not really had the market presence to worry them.
No.
But I think DJI and Insta360, they were always heading for this face-off. I think it's been heading this way for a while.
But what I'm interested in is that how are they going to resolve this? Because technology companies do that all the time, right? It's not just about them too. If you look at the computing industry or the smartphone market, it's you copy me, me copy you. It's always got this tit for tat, and people are just like looking at what can sell, what cannot sell, and what you think this that's like a good idea. Let's nick that idea and implement into our technologies or our product. It happens all the time.
I suspect worst case for one of those makers is it's probably going to be Insta360 might had to withdraw a product or issue a firmware update which modifies its features, or they agree an out of court one-off license fee arrangement, a kind of retrospective license payment, and then in future they make sure they don't tread on each other's toes. I think it'll be resolved in that way somehow, but I think there's always going to be this ever since Insta360 made a drone.
Yep.
I think this was always going to happen.
Yeah.
So I do feel as if DJI is probably right in thinking Insta360 has been watching us and now they're copying us.
Yeah.
So.
but the thing is though, when obviously I don't know to in terms of technical levels, I don't know how much technologies are identical, so to speak, like a direct copy of each other. It's quite hard to tell.
We may never know.
We may never know. But without companies making products, and even though they may be similar, but they could perform very differently, and but without doing so, and we kind of basically leave it to just one, maybe maximum two companies dominating the entire market, and I don't think that's fair for consumers. And we talk about antitrust and like monopolies and all the other stuff, and that's exactly what DJI is almost trying to do. Okay, we are a drone boy. No one else can make drone, and then instead we make 360 camera. No one else can make 360 cameras, and it's kind of like that at the moment, isn't it?
It is. I think the technology is so complex that probably it's not something any company could easily replicate. So I think you are going to find yourself in a situation where one company is dominant for a particular type of technology.
Yeah.
It's just I think it's just what happens when cameras become so sophisticated.
Yeah, I mean it's quite hard to say, and also I mean similar. We go back to the lens market. It's very similar. Like we like having third-party options. We like to have slightly more affordable options, so we're not being told what we have to pay for certain type of products. And because when you have a dominance, which means that they just tell us what to do. Essentially, if that camera is going to cost $1,000 or pound, is going to be $1,000 and pound. There's no change because there's no competitors out there, and that's not right. If there's only one drone on the market and that's DJI, that means they can sell whatever the heck they want, and then we got no choice.
They can, but then DJI provides its own choices because it makes several drones at several different price points. So
Yeah.
you do have an alternative. You can just buy a cheaper one. So
Yeah,
screw
but
you.
yeah, I know exactly that now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not what we don't want to see eventually. But so this court case does highlight the problem that we are now seeing within the tech sector, technology sector. You know, I'm not just about cameras, but it applies across the entire section here, whether it's going to be lenses, computers, you know, cameras. Yeah.
I think we're probably all thinking back to a time when cameras were just like tin boxes with a few gears and springs that any company could make. But now there's so much technology involved. It's become a very specialized thing. Patents have become very aggressive. So there aren't many companies that can make the cameras that we want to use today.
Yeah. I mean,
Disappointingly.
I understand, you know, like from you know, copyright patents and all the other stuff, designs. You know, you really want to protect it, right? You know, I mean, I'm totally up for it. You know, I'm totally supporting the idea of protecting people's ideas and things like that. But when you're thinking about like making something brand new these days, in this day and age, it's going to be extremely difficult to produce something completely fresh without treading on somebody's toes, you know, and when it comes to it's almost impossible, right? You know, because no matter how many ways you're figuring out, you know, it's always someone already thought about it and done it. And that means that if you do make it using that method or technology, you are infringing the copyright one way or the other. And if people find out, you're going to be sued.
It would be lovely to imagine that it'd still be possible to make a digital camera that had virtually zero electronics, just enough to capture and process and save the image, but no advanced AF, no, dare I say, computational imaging.
Well,
nothing complicated, just shutter speeds and apertures.
This is what this guy's supposed to be, right? The Kyra AI camera.
Yeah, but
it's supposed to be a chip inside. That's it.
Yeah, but that's more proprietary technology, isn't it? It's not a simple engineering principle anymore. It's talking about proprietary electronic solutions that are fiercely guarded.
Yes. So I don't know what you guys thinking. You know, please give some comment down below and what you think about, you know, what we just said about this copyright thing and all the court cases that are happening right now, because I can't see this is going to be the last one. There's going to be more coming up, and as the more Chinese makers, or not just Chinese but any other makers, going to make something new, and very likely if they become successful, and some of these big boys will be, you know, having an eyebrows raised, and they say, okay, no, hang on there. You're making an inroad into my market. You're not allowed.
I have an old photographer friend, lives just up the road from me, who made a camera out of half a biscuit tin.
Yep.
So he would mount he used photographic paper to make a paper negative, stuck to the inside of the tin in the kind of hemisphere with a pinhole for a lens in the front, and he's so far he hasn't been sued because but it's a shame you can't do something like that with digital technology. Whereby you can take things and engineer a very simple camera without treading on everybody's toes, but that doesn't seem to be possible anymore.
No, unfortunately. I mean, then that would mean that we're going to see more and more court cases, and who's going to benefit? Not us consumers. It's going to be the lawyers who's going to be ripping all the monies.
They're not new. Those court cases have been going on for quite a while now. We don't always hear about them, but they're just like a constant background noise in the industry. Yeah. It's quite interesting what's happening with the Canon RF mount, because I noticed there that if you use full frame Canon RF cameras, your choice of third-party lenses is fairly limited.
Yes.
But there are a lot more for APS-C, which is good because Canon doesn't make a whole lot of particularly desirable APS-C RF lenses.
Yeah.
But I'm interested that Laowa still manages to sell its 10mm f2.8 full frame lens in RF mount.
Oh.
Because that's kind of I think there's a Canon RF 14 1.4. So Lao is quite prime. Yeah, so I think the idea was that you can make a third-party lens for the RF mount if Canon didn't make anything else like it.
Yeah.
Well, I think a couple of instances where Lao has made lenses which are kind of quite close.
Yeah, yeah.
But they've also filled a couple of gaps. There's a couple of lower shift lenses for RF mount, and Canon doesn't make those for RF. You would have to use an adapter with the old EFS lenses. So,
but those two shift lenses are menu focused; they're not autofocus.
Oh yeah, well but you can't have an autofocus tilt shift lens.
No,
it can't be done.
Hang on. I thought Canon made some tilt shift AF lenses before we had for their DSLRs. Did they not? I thought they made some. I can't remember now.
How did they manage your electrical contact then?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna maybe have a quick look now just to see. The Canon EF tilt shift lens to see if there is any. Yeah, 17 1.f4. I think it's an autofocus.
I'd take it all back. I don't see how they do it then.
And they have the 24mm 3.5 L2.
Yeah,
they're all autofocused.
It's not okay. I'll take that back. But they're not making it. They're not adapting these for RF. That seems a bit
no, they haven't. So you have to use their. They have used their RF to EF adapter.
You would, yeah. That's interesting. I didn't realize they were autofocus. Oh, okay, interesting.
So that's very unique. Very unique lenses.
How you navigate that electrical contact with a lens body that's moving relative to those contacts. That's interesting.
Yes. Weird. But they are not they're not cheap.
Oh no.
Yeah. Right. But okay, going back to what we were talking about, I already saw some comments down here. Let's maybe pick a couple of them. And first of all, John said earlier we're talking about all these pricing and suing and threatening things like that. And John just said the Trump effect. Well, that's the business way. Trump is a businessman, and I think that this is a very aggressive businessman. And I can certainly see a lot of these huge multinational giant companies do behave one way or the other very similar to that.
Just a quick note: the TSE lenses are manual focus.
Ah, right. Okay.
So yeah, this idea of availability of these SG lenses worldwide. It's not just the cost of shipping. It depends on the import regulations and restrictions in each territory.
Yep.
So for a company like SG, if they're talking about shipping to a territory where there's some uncertainty about import duties or whether they can guarantee the delivery chain, they probably won't offer those countries. So it's not that they have any kind of political bias. It's just that if they're going to offer shipping to a country, they have to have a mechanism in place they can rely on. So I think it's really that affects where they will ship to.
At this moment in time, and what I know is, have a look at I don't know where everybody is at the moment, but in the UK at least, you can have a look at AliExpress. AliExpress basically is almost like Amazon, but it's like a Chinese version of it, and they have all kinds of stuff in it. You can buy SG imaging lenses through AliExpress, and they do ship internationally. And many of the UK listing, if they list it for the UK, and fairly likely they're going to be including the VAT and import duty for the price.
Right.
I haven't personally looked at them, so you can maybe have a quick browse to see what you can see there. Because I have ordered a number of things through AliExpress, and fairly often they're quite quick in shipping if they already have some stock in local or close by warehouses in Europe, and they will be able to ship to you fairly quickly, and the pricings are fairly reasonable. Of course, you can buy direct, and I think most people were looking at the website directly, so that's probably what happened. But very likely that SG Imaging will have local distributor in China, which meant some of them would have stock and those people will be the one who will be sending you the lens, not through SG Imaging directly. So they'll be listing themselves on AliExpress, and they ship it out from there. So it's worth having a look to see what sort of pricings they would be willing to do it in terms of shipping and duty, because AliExpress do have a platform and kind of like automations that they calculate everything for the seller, so the seller will be able to charge accordingly about duties and shipping and things like that. So it's more or less like Amazon, so they're quite advanced now when it comes to that one.
And if it does involve international shipping,
yeah,
it depends on who the carrier is. So like if it's FedEx,
yeah,
good luck with that.
Yeah,
I have more luck than I do with FedEx, but we'll say no
you
more.
maybe pay more than the lens.
Well, it's I think it's probably only affects me where I live and my local deliveries, but FedEx, generally when FedEx sends me notifications saying your package will be delivered between this and this, I know it's safe to go out because it won't be that. So be careful of that. Yeah, but worth checking AliExpress, because they are Chinese platform, and they do pick up Chinese seller from China, and if any of them have SG imaging lenses in stock, I'm pretty certain I can just order from them directly. And similar to Amazon, may be a little bit more complicated, but they do offer return as well and refund, so they're usually pretty good. Pretty okay with that, but obviously that would involve you shipping the product back and things like that. So just bear that in mind. So it's not ideal if you want it tomorrow. Let's say that.
No, it won't be. They don't have Prime services. But it would take a few days, maybe a week or so, to reach you. And if they don't have things locally, it may take about 2 weeks to ship to you from China. But usually fairly quick. They go by ground. They don't go by air because that will keep the cost down. So they will ship through train, basically through Europe and everything else, and eventually land to your country. But yeah, it will take some time. So that's another comment here. I can see this side to a screen saying that Pixie could join Michael Four Third. Why not? They're making full frame. Why would they want to make Michael Four Third? I don't know. And that's another French company is going to be making Michael Four Third camera in Southern Oregon Quiet. Remember we talked about that company. I can't remember the name of it now. I could never pronounce the name of it.
That's how memorable it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, I keep wanting to call it XS, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I can't remember now. Esquite, yeah.
Mesquite? No, that's something else.
No, I think it's S. I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, they are the Michael Four. They are supposed to be the Michael Four Third camera, and it has a retro-looking rangefinder style body. So if they are making it, I don't think the Pixie will be have any interest in doing so, and they are still primarily trying to appeal to the Leica users, have an air mount and everything like that, and I can't see them diversifying because they're quite a small unit, and I don't think they have the resources to actually generate a brand new line of camera and have to redevelop everything. Esquisse, Robert Mills, yep. Got it here. Yep. So they I have no idea. Don't ask me about my French. My French is very poor.
You were telling us how wonderful it was 6 months ago, and now you can't remember how to spell it. Can't believe that.
Well, the thing is, I did speak to the guy. I spoke to the CEO of the company, and he was very keen to show me everything. But he did say to me that be patient. Once we have a prototype, and you can have a look at it. I said, okay, I'll wait. And so now it's my 6 months down the line. I haven't heard anything from them. Yeah. Is
it a Kickstarter or is it just something?
No. It wasn't even Kickstarter.
So it's like I don't know if those are AI generated or whether they just basically mocked up a model and then just done a bit of crafty, not crafty, that's the wrong word, done a bit of creative advertising around it. Don't know. But it'd be a shame for that not to appear because it's a nice camera in principle, being so simple.
It looks it. It looks it, and but it does cost you a little bit of money though, and from what I heard, it's going to be $2,000, so it's not going to be cheap. That thing. Yeah. But depending on specs and how well it's made, so we just have to wait and see what happened there. And I was going to say something, I completely forgot.
One of those things that's reassuringly expensive. You know, it costs so much, it's got to be good.
Yes, the more the better.
Yeah. So I'm not seeing any fresh updates on that really.
No,
so
but people, when you mentioned about Pixie, and Pixie is actually going to announce a brand new Leica M-mount cameras, and I don't know they have a name just yet. I think whether it's going to be Pixie 2 or Pixie 3, I'm not entirely sure. It's basically a refined and updated version of the Pixie cameras, that the one that I have been using actually. Quite frankly, they haven't asked it back yet. It's still here, so I still have it. And you know what? There are a few quirks about this camera, but I think that it has some ideas that I quite like. And it's still an end-mount camera, so you still shoot like a rangefinder camera. It's got no screen. That means you can chimp after you're taking the shot. And in some way, it's very nostalgic. I do like the elements of it. But there are some quirks that technologically they could fix with an update, and so I'm hoping the new camera is going to address that. So just wait and see what they are going to do. But talking of which, and another comment from this side tourist screen is saying that honestly, when I say this hesitantly, I wonder if we will see OM and Lumix joined. No,
can't see it. They are. If they were people, they would be incompatible people. I think Panasonic would say OM, never heard of them, small fry, and OM would say we don't need Panasonic tech, we can make this stuff already better than them. So then neither side, I don't think either side would be interested.
No,
I think Panasonic will quietly let the format disappear, and OM system will just carry on as if nothing had happened.
Well, that is Rod's prediction. See that, you know, you're going to hear from Rod first.
We're not recording this, right?
It will be permanently in YouTube.
Oh, no. I think of all the things I predicted over the years.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, it's quite hard to say. But I mean, as always, I just don't know what's in Lumix's mind, to be quite honest. And like the L10, it just came up from nowhere. I know they celebrate
space, I think.
You know, just like the L10, right? The L10 came out. You know, they said it's to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Lumix brand, and but it came from nowhere. You know, no one see that coming, and it's weird. And I mean, I temptationally order the camera just to have a look, you know, just to see what it feels like. I mean, I'll order one, so I'll tell you all about it when I get it. And but on paper, it's a cracking camera, just on paper, based on specs and things like that. But then again, the more I look at it, the more I think that it's a weird camera. It's almost like it has a lot of like knives, but none of them are sharp. And then it's just like
butter knives.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it like a still focus camera? No, not really. It's got a lot of video specs, but it's a really proper video camera? Not quite. It's not quite a full-fledged video camera either.
I mean, I think it's just Panasonic saying, look at all this GH7 stuff we've got in the parts bins. Let's put it in another camera.
Oh, I don't know. It feels like a waste opportunity in some way in my mind. And I mean, I like the body. The body shape is fantastic. I always like the LX100, so it's shaped like that. So I like the form factor, even though it's a bit bigger than the old LX100. But I do like the form factor. And I do like the lens. Don't get me wrong. I do like the lens. And the lens seems to be quite good. But it's just something about it. Something about the L10 is not quite the old LX100, like where it's like still focus camera.
If you could still buy the LX100 too, would we still buy it?
Yeah.
I think perhaps. I think perhaps we would.
I think I would too. Yes.
So I think something has changed in the camera industry. That there's been a growing awareness that older cameras are still quite desirable if they're the right kind of camera.
Yeah.
And I think
Funny
the
enough,
LX100 probably was.
Yeah. You know what? I have 5. I'm not joking. 5 Facebook friends literally told me a week after the L10 was announced, they went ahead to buy the Deluxe 8.
Yeah, I was on the verge. I was on the verge of doing that myself because the turns out the Deluxe 8 is everything that we would have wanted the L10 to have been. I mean, it's not the same resolution, the video's not as good, but it's the camera that we actually want. So I think the L10 is the technology we want, but not necessarily in the camera that we want.
I like the way you put it. That's good. Yes, it's the technology that we want.
Yeah, but but not the camera. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do think the LX100, I mean, to a certain extent, the Deluxe 8 is more of a stills cameras, focus camera. It's got a shutter speed dial instead of mode dial. It has a shutter speed dial on top.
Who knew?
and then you've got an aperture ring. Well, the new ones still have an aperture ring, but it's just that disconnection there. You have an aperture ring, but you don't have a shutter speed dial. It's kind of that disconnection suddenly appeared on the camera.
I think as well with the whole series, one of the things against it is the electrical zoom.
Yeah.
Because even if you've got a shutter speed dial and an aperture ring, having an electrically powered zoom doesn't feel quite the same. But you can't have everything.
Yeah, it's good. I mean,
by the way, I did some quick research.
Yep.
Esquisse in French translates into sketch or draft or
right.
idea. So
okay.
That must be where the name comes from.
So it may
for a camera.
It may remain as an idea.
Yes. Right.
Let's
see.
Time will tell. Time will tell. I mean, I do hope that they will become a real camera, because it does look good, at least on a sketch, and then and it looks good.
Would you still buy, if you could? Would you still buy the GM1 or GM5?
Right. I probably won't buy the GM1, but maybe the
because
GM5.
The no viewfinder. Yeah.
I think I would still get a GM5, and it kind of shows, because the GM5 second-hand value is significantly higher than GM1, even though GM1 is still the smallest Michael Four Third cameras ever built. That title, I just don't think it's going to be taken away anytime soon.
I saw both at the show when Panasonic launched them, and I could not believe how small they were.
They're tiny.
I couldn't see how it's possible. So it's a shame they went, really.
Yeah, I mean, like, just look at the size of the GM5. It's a point-and-shoot camera. So this is another kind of. I got a little bit upset. I got a little bit animated and angry when I saw the L10. Panasonic knows how to make small cameras, and they give us a big giant thing.
Yeah.
Even if they refresh
triggers, Jimmy.
I know. Even if they refresh this, just put a USB-C port, just like what they did with the GX90 or whatever that camera, and I would be happy to pay for that. If even they just simply given us a USB-C port, I would be happy to buy it. And then even if it's an older camera with an older sensor, I will still buy it. Yeah. So unfortunately,
Vermis 8344's comment.
That one?
Part of my brain, wrapped in tinfoil, just wondered if the L10 is Panasonic's way of nudging Lumix users towards Lumix S. Do you know, I've never thought of wrapping any part of my brain in tinfoil, and I just wonder if things might have worked out differently if I had. But it's too late now. But no, I don't know. I think Panasonic, it's weird. It's almost as if they're saying, look, these MFT cameras are so big. What's the problem? Just go full frame. So maybe there's some truth to it. I don't know.
No.
It's like they've lost the urge to make small cameras.
Well, that's my personal problem with Lumix, and I'm nothing against Lumix, but just my feeling of Lumix is that they used to build great Michael Four Third cameras, and they did like have a lot of really interesting models there, really great cameras there. As much as I'm OM and / Olympus guy before, I also admire what Lumix did in the past, and when they made that move to full frame, and not only felt that I felt a little bit kind of like a sad that they potentially abandoning the format. which I don't know whether they still have that heart in the Micro Four Thirds, even though they claim they still have. And then, but they're not quite fully engaged in the full frame world either. You know, I mean, that's how I feel about them. The models that they introduce, the lens lineup that they have produced so far, I just don't see they making as much of an effort compared to the likes of Sony's and Nikon and you know, Canon.
It seems to me that the Panasonic is very focused on video.
Yeah.
But somehow it's been very quick. The video capabilities of its MFT cameras,
yeah,
especially if you look at something like the GH7, are rather a long way ahead of what the Lumix S cameras can do. And it's never quite managed to flip to full frame and maintain that same video capability.
Yeah, yeah. Because my personal feeling is that if even with Micro Four Thirds users, regardless whether it's OM or Lumix, if they want to jump to full frame, I'm very certain that the first thing they look at is not going to be Lumix. They're going to be looking at Sony, Canon, or Nikon when they come to full frame. And for Lumix to really build on the full frame side, they really need to put a lot of effort, a lot of resources into marketing and everything like that. But I don't think they have done it. What do you think?
Well, I was a bit disappointed with the S5 Mark II because it seems a terribly minor thing, but in this day and age, you would expect any full frame camera to be able to shoot 4K video full width. We take that for granted, but 4K 60, which a lot of people use now for that flexibility, 4K 60 with a crop. You know, you wouldn't accept that in Micro Four Thirds, but somehow you had to accept it with full frame.
Yeah,
you know, just doesn't seem quite right somehow. And also the readout speeds are more of a problem with the bigger sensor.
Yes.
So you've got something like the S1R2, which shoots 8K as far as I recall, and every resolution and frame rate below that, but it has quite a slow readout speed. So you have to be careful how you film. So you can't do any of those what do they call them? Not fast pans, not flick pans. What do they call them? Can't think. But you can't do any fast pans basically for effect.
Yeah, you got to roll in shutters.
You can't do any run and gun shooting because you're going to get too much jello effect. So, but then they're not that kind of camera. But it does seem to me that in moving up to full frame, Panasonic took a bit of a hit on the video performance. I know you like your S9 though.
I do, and I do my S9 as a casual camera. I wouldn't do anything serious with it, but as a casual camera, it is good. Well, it's only good because of the current price. I mean, I would never ever consider buying it at all when it's launch price, which is ridiculous.
It's like 1,500 or 1,600, wasn't it? Somewhere around there.
It's pretty expensive, but in the UK now you can get it for $799 body only, which is cheap. So that's why I got one, and just to test L-mount lenses. But just I think that the camera itself is fine as an entry level camera. What I think what Lumix should have done in the first place is to market it as an entry level camera, but they're trying to make it like very posh influencer cameras when it first launched, and but instantly everybody who tested the camera, including those that Lumix invited to Japan to see the camera, were complaining they had no lenses for it. You know, it just got a small body with absolutely no lens that came with it. And then if you want to use anything wide, you have to stuck a big massive lens in front of it. It just didn't work.
Because for a while the only real choice was that 20 to 60, which was a 3.5 to 5.6, but that's a fair size. But it seems to me that Panasonic is not the only company doing this. They're aiming these cameras at influencers, and I think by implication that means people who aren't very sophisticated or very experienced filmmakers who are perhaps coming up for a smartphone. They need to be selling cameras that are better than this. They need better stabilization, bigger choice of frame rates. They need to be more bulletproof, so that a beginner can pick them up, do the kind of filming they do with a smartphone and for it to be as good.
Yeah.
It won't be because, you know, you need more skill to use them. So
yeah.
I think that's where full frame has been a bit of a problem for Panasonic and other makers. Smaller formats do this stuff rather better.
Yeah.
MFT particularly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's another point that we'll probably bring it back to the closing stage of our today's discussion is how we're going to see MFT going forward from this point. And I see Angelo Player for one actually mentioned something actually quite interesting about the Lumix USA. They said that most of their employees are photographers, but their customers see them as focused on video. Well, from an outsider point of view, I'm not a Lumix employee or a Lumix user by default. But traditionally, even back in the early days of Micro Four Third, yes, Lumix actually started as stills cameras. You know, the G1, the GF1, all of them were still focused cameras. And I think when the GX came out, and that's really starting to hit people, especially among videographers, because the video spec coming out from those cameras is phenomenal at that time.
Well, for a while, there was nothing else like it.
No. And they were one of the first ones to bring 4K recording as well, right? The GX4. And at that point, people just said, oh, 4K, you know, in such a small compact body with interchangeable and changeable lenses is a great option for videos. And I think from that point, it's kind of solidified itself as more like a video tool for professionals and serious enthusiasts.
I wonder if Panasonic is believable of its own propaganda, though, because it's had a solid position in high-end broadcast video. I'm trying to remember the name of the Panasonic brand. You know what I mean? The news gathering cameras, the big professional camcorders.
The big one, yes.
I think Panasonic felt that would carry through their reputation into the consumer market, but consumers don't know anything about these cameras. It's like Sony using its Venice cameras to promote its cinema line. Consumers have never heard of Venice cameras, so and I think it's going to hurt Nikon as well because they're trying. They bought Red.
They bought
which
Red,
is tremendous acquisition.
Yeah.
But the type of cameras and the type of market Nikon serves, the kind of consumer, they don't know who Red is. They've heard of them. No. So it's difficult to make that kind of high-end push downwards work, I think.
I would say, you know, I normally have to say that and also reinforce that I normally hate marketing departments from camera companies. I just hate them because they never tell the truth and exaggerate false informations. And but anyway, but in this particular case, it's really down to the marketing department to really trying to reinforce and re-educate people about these brands and capabilities, especially when it comes to Red. Red's such a big brand among professionals, and if Nikon going to utilize Red as an in-way for their video liner cameras for enthusiasts or indie filmmakers, they need to do something about the brand itself.
The gap is too big.
Yeah.
The gap in the users of Red cameras so utterly unlike and disconnected from the users of Nikon cameras. Yep. How are you going to bridge that gap so that both become aware of each other? It's terribly difficult.
Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting to see what they are going to do. Although, having said that, the latest Red camera or Z Red camera, whatever you want to call it, were pretty successful. It got numerous awards for that camera, and I have played with it.
ZR?
Yeah, ZR, that's it. And then I play with it. It's pretty impressive, and for the size, you are getting a lot of the camera. So it's an interesting piece of technology.
I don't think you're getting a lot of Red tech in that camera. I think you're getting a lot of the Red branding, and I think you're getting the color profile. So I think you could possibly use the ZR for B-roll if you're working with the Red setup. But those Red cameras, they're terrifyingly expensive, but they're also incredibly powerful.
Yeah,
you know, what they can do is just extraordinary. I think some of them water cooled, aren't they? I think so.
I'm not entirely sure with their water cool.
Not sure.
But certainly, I mean, it's an interesting point that you brought up, and I don't see that much Red technologies in that ZR, and it's more or less still basically a Z6 III, and being beefed up in the video side with intercooling and then things like that, and but having said that, I do like that big giant screen in the back, and I do like the ergonomics of it. Even though it hasn't got EVF, but the screen is big and bright, so you can use it in bright daylight. So it's actually a pretty decent camera, and for the price, which is about £2,000 in the UK, you can get some slightly cheaper prices now. I think you're getting a heck of a camera for that price, because it can outspec the Z6 and it can outspec the ZF. It has the same partial stack sensors as the ZX3, as a Z6 III. So it is actually a pretty decent camera. I mean, so it's an interesting thing.
I did imagine water cooling. They're fan cooled, but apparently some people have rigged up water cooling systems independently.
Well, I don't know what they're filming, so they need water cooling.
Well, it's basically the heat. I'm just trying to see. So the Red V Raptor, we've all heard of that, right? No, I don't think so. That has insane specifications. Let's see if I can tell you. It's got global shutter. It's got a sensor which is about the size of small medium format, if you know what I mean. So it's a bit bigger than full frame. 17.5 stops of dynamic range, and I'm just trying to see what resolutions it does. 8K up to 60 frames a second, etc., etc. It's a monster. But that's always going to be too expensive to bring to the consumer market. That is like a £13,000 camera. Yeah.
I'm just reading Angelo Player for Ron's comment. I don't think we're trying to disagree with that, and it's only because I think Nikon. Nikon is trying to make an inway into the more serious video making world. Because traditional Nikon is never about video making, even though they have video capabilities. But when you talk about people who are serious about making indie movies or YouTube stuff, Nikon's really is the last brand to think of when it comes to camera choices. They will look at camera as Canon and Sony, because even though they may not buy the Cine series, but they are known to have that kind of lineup that they know. That means the brand is basically have the capabilities and knowledge of making the video spec work. And traditional Nikon just doesn't have that credibilities or the credits behind them. So by acquiring Red, Nikon's hoping will be able to bring that kind of a trust, at least from video people.
I think probably what I meant was not that it was a bad fit technically, but it's a very difficult marketing message for two lots of consumers who've never heard of the other ones.
Yeah,
that's what I meant by that.
Yeah, so Red customer would not know Nikon too much because
they would say, why would I care about Nikon?
Yeah, it's and like vice versa. Most Nikon people would never ever heard of Red.
No, what's Red? How much do they cost? How big are they? No, not interested.
But on the other hand, Canon has the Canon Cine series. They already know, and even the Cine cameras can use the EF lenses and all the other lenses. So
it's interesting. I need to do more research on the Canon cinema cameras, but I think Nikon has been quite clever, because in acquiring Red, they've got a camera range which is the equal in terms of power of anything that the others have got. Probably more so. For a long time, Red was famous for doing the impossible with video. So
speaking of
playing a long game.
It's definitely a long game, and depending on how the marketing department work these days, and then see if they can really bridge that gap there. Speaking of which, though, Fuji, although we haven't really spoken of Fuji is also known in the broadcasting in Japan, locally, domestically.
Right.
And we just never really heard of them, because in the outside world, most of the people are using Sony and Canon in terms of broadcasting, and rarely you'll find the Japanese brands in them. But locally, domestically in Japan and the broadcasting stage, and you will find so many brands that we don't usually associate them with. People like Sharp, Pioneer, and they are actually in the broadcasting stuff that we never seen in the consumer market.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I think high-end video content and filmmaking and studio production is certainly outside my territory. And I think probably most people's is a very specialized area where the cost of the camera is insignificant compared to the cost of the sets and the talent and the logistics and the production. So for that kind of market, red cameras are probably cheap. I'll get 2.
And Linda actually got an interesting point here as well. Like, to be frank, at the time, I think both the GMs and the Pen F don't sell too well because of the price. I think you might be right. Yeah.
I think those were different times. It would be very interesting to repeat that experiment today, I think.
Well, that's what I'm worried about. You know, I know every one of you are asking for Pen F2, and I know everyone, including myself, want a new GM. But I just don't see any of these cameras, if they are making a brand new version of it in 2026 or maybe next year in 2026. I can't see any of these cameras going to go below £1,500 in the UK or $1,800. I just can't see it happening. No. So it's going to be a very dear, very expensive camera. And if you look at the L10, it's an all-in-one compact camera. Well, compact camera with a fixed lens that is selling for in the UK £1,300. You know, and so I can't see an interchangeable version of that is going to be less than that at all. So it's going to be quite expensive, and just like anything else these days, unfortunately.
I just had the feeling that 5 or 10 years ago, all the reviewers didn't know that cameras for stills photography had kind of leveled out. So they were quite critical of cameras that weren't technically advanced or seemed expensive at the time. But I think with hindsight, we can see that the cameras that they didn't think much of are actually quite good and kind of stood the test of time and have kind of become a bit more desirable because we're not just interested in tech. We're also interested in cameras as physical things that we have a kind of emotional connection with. And I think back then, we didn't understand that. But now I think we're starting to understand that.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see, especially these day and age. I think that price of cameras is it's not really a discussing point now. Obviously, still affordability still plays the part, but it's a lot of emotional values there. And if people see something that can resonate them, whether it's to their lifestyle or to some of the older memories, you know, stuff like retro styling bodies, for instance, and people are willing to pay the price for that type of attachment, you know, that value that is intangible to a certain extent. So it's interesting to see if, let's say, Pen F2 come out, have a list price of $2,000. You know, people might still buy them, and then it's going to be really hard to justify that.
Well, I don't feel necessarily. First of all, I think the OM3 was the Pen F Mark II.
Yep.
So we'll see. Another of my predictions, hostage to fortune here. But I think as well, if a new Pen F2 did come out at around $2,000, I don't think it would be face that kind of criticism for value. I think large part of the audience has moved away from this idea of bullet points versus price equals value. And I think a lot of people are looking for something a bit deeper and more meaningful to them.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like buying the Fuji half.
Yeah.
Not because of its specifications, but because of what it is or what it's like.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can't see a Pen F2, but if we did,
I don't know.
If we did 2,000, yes, but I think that would be acceptable. I'd rather it's 500, but you know, you have to be realistic.
Speaking of 500, Linda got another quick question about. I would like to stay with very small and light camera. That's up my street. I like small and light camera. The question is to switch to OM5 or to get an old Z50 or the older RX100.
Well, I would say it's quite hard to get small lenses for the Z50 or even get the same choice of lenses. I think it is worth some investigation, but the Nikon DX lens system doesn't really lean towards small lenses. There might be a few. I don't know. I'm talking off the top of my head here. Be worth checking. Yeah. Jimmy would know because he's got a ZFC.
Yeah, so for the for the Z APS-C cameras, yeah, like what Rod said, there aren't many small lenses for the APS-C format. But if you go Chinese, there are a ton. There are a ton of APS-C lenses that are made for Nikon Z APS-C cameras. They are a lot smaller, a lot lighter, and fairly affordable as well. So the option is there, but only if you're willing to go the Chinese route. Not against it, but you have to. We talked about earlier about the law case, the current situation, the legal battle between Viltrox and Nikon. It looks okay at the moment. I'm not entirely sure the long-term future whether it's going to have any impact. I doubt it very much, but you just have to have that doubt always if that ever going to happen. On the other hand, the RX100 is old. It also has much smaller sensor. It has a smaller sensor among the three options you gave us. So it's a 1 inch. If you're in bright daylight, it's definitely more than enough. Low light, it does a fairly decent job. But AF and the zoom is going to be the limiting factor there. And also, depending which RX100 you're considering, the older one, Mark 1 to Mark 5, the one that I have is Mark 5, has the f2 aperture in the widest end. The newer one, the Mark 6 to Mark 7, it has a 2.8 aperture, so it's slightly slower lens as well. So it has a much longer zoom, but it has a slower, wider aperture in the wide end. OM5 would be the newest of the lot. Then you have quite a lot going, actually. If you're going for the small primes, and you are getting a fairly decently small body, even much smaller than the Z50 option. So if you're looking for a slight interchangeable option, I would say the OM5 is a better bet than the Z50.
Yeah, especially with all the EM10 Mark IV.
Yeah.
And either of those with the 14 to 42 zoom.
Yeah.
That is small.
It's small. It's really small, and it's rugged. It's weather sealed as well. If you do have a couple of like weather sealed prime, the little ones, and you literally have a sealed up cameras that you can use in the rain. While neither option, the other two options are. So the RX100 is definitely not, and it is small. Give it that. In the RX100, it's very tiny, but it has its limitation because of that.
Jimmy and I have different opinions. I think Jimmy quite likes the RX100. I don't like them.
Where is mine?
It's probably it's probably under a box of matches somewhere.
Yeah, I was clearing out my office.
To me, there's small and there's too small.
Yeah. But I like the EM5.
Yeah.
I mean the OM5 is small. This is one with the 45 1.8, so it's a tiny thing. I do like it. It feels heavy than you might think, even though it's plastic compared to the EM10.
Just to throw a curveball.
Yep.
If you're looking at Nikon ZDX,
okay,
don't rule out the Z30.
Yeah.
If you can live without a viewfinder.
Yep.
It's not very expensive. It's really nicely made, and it's quite good for stills. Unfortunately, it's not that great for video, which is what it's sold as.
Yeah.
But it's a nice little stills camera.
Linda's follow comment. I want a Pen F2 so the original will get cheaper. Yeah. I actually think if the new Pen F2 is going to be $2,000, I don't think the older is going to get any cheaper.
No. It might go up because people might say, I'm not paying $2,000. I'll tell you what, I will pay $1,500 for the old one. So it might go up. It's like all the used Fujifilm cameras have gone up in price because the new ones have come
ridiculous. Out. I walked past Park Cameras the other day, and they had 3 X Pro 3 on the window shelf used, and then I was just curious, looking at the price of them.
Yeah.
Guess how much they are? I wouldn't say battered condition, but it's obviously used. You can see corners being rubbed and then things like that. It's got little scratches here and there. It's not mint, basically, not mint condition.
Yeah.
A black one costs £1,400. That's the brand new price you pay when it first came out.
Yeah, that's right. I think 16. It was roughly 16 when I first took a look at them. But yeah, you'll pay more than that for a mint one.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous how much you have to pay for a essentially 6 years old camera. These are Expo 3, 5, 6
Yeah.
years old now, right? And then yeah, so it's
My
crazy, really
my
crazy.
tip right now, if you like that retro feel, is the XT33, which you can buy new
Yep.
at really quite a good price. And there's no
Yeah.
IBIS, and it's the old 26 megapixel sensor. But so are most of the older cameras, older Fujifilm cameras that we're looking at. So
Yep.
that's a good buy right now.
Yeah, actually, I prefer the 26 megapixel sensors
Yeah,
way
yeah.
more than the 40 megapixels, and I
Do,
tried them both. I prefer that much more.
do you know you were talking the other day about random focus errors you had with you tried an XT5 or is it the XH2 you tried?
No, I tried XT5. I
So
had it for about a month. Yeah.
So I looked back at some pictures I took on the trip to Norway 2 years ago with my XT5, and I looked at all of them more carefully. What do you know? Every now and then, completely random focus error. No reason for it. Green square in the viewfinder. Focus confirmation bleep, but it was out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not just one particular lens, but it could be any lens.
I mean,
Very annoying.
It's a recurring thing that I keep hearing from Fujifilm users as well. So you're not the only one. I have heard this
Yeah.
story quite often. And on the other hand, I actually think that the 26 megapixels is much better with the AF. My HH2S, my current HH2S is 26 megapixel stack sensor. My XM5 is the 26 megapixel CMOS sensor, and both of them rarely fail the focus. And I mean, you still find not 100%. No cameras is 100%, but compared to the 40 megapixel, I think it has a much higher success rate than the than the 26. Yeah. It's strange. It's really strange. I just don't. It could be something that the Fuji needs to look into it. They might just simply do a plug and play of the AF algorithm from the old to the new, which happens a lot in the industry. They thought, it'll work. Just plug it in to see what happens.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we'll see. I hope so, because it's a really nice sensor.
Yeah.
The raw files together on that sensor are really nice to work with. It's just the lenses and the autofocus.
Yeah.
Ray Vancini paid 600-ish for his pen F. How did you do that? You can't do that now.
You are lucky. You are
Yeah.
so lucky to get
Yeah.
that price. Yeah. And you'll be lucky to find one in mint condition. It'd be even higher as well. So, and you got one too, Rod. You got a silver one, right?
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
there's a black one, but doesn't do it for me. It has to be silver. Yeah, mine costs more than that, but you know.
Mine's a stealthy
No,
black. Mine's a
Yeah, but
stealthy black.
looks like any other camera in black.
Yeah, but I pimped it up though. I've got the wooden shutter release and then and the wooden cover for the hot shoe.
Wooden. Is it mahogany? Is it a very fancy wood?
I think so. It's one of the special one that Olympus used to sell, right? And they sell it for £60 for that two little things there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I see Linda Marks wants to know where the dog is. The dog is on her bed. If I don't look at her, she won't jump up. I'm going to pretend she's not there. So I don't want the dog in my face, literally. Just
yeah.
this side towards screen says, why is the Nikon ZFC with lens quote surprise, is it that bad of a camera? It's not. No, you had one, didn't you? I think you mentioned that the dials were a bit plasticky, but I think it's great value. But it's not exactly small.
No, it's not small. And it, how would I put it? I mean, it's great value for money. It's a great camera for the price, and it's a capable camera, but there's a lot of limitations. So if you're a beginner, you'll be way more than happy. Even if you're intermediate level, you're still quite happy about it. But I don't think it's a camera for pros or demanding users. But it isn't aiming for those users anyway to start with. But as a camera, is perfectly fine. And to be quite honest, the price reflects the age of the camera, because the ZFC has been around for about 3.5, almost 4 years now. It's still on sale. So it's not really a new camera, but because people still want them because of the look of it. And that's why Nikon's keeping it. I'm not sure whether they're going to make a Mark II out of it, which is another puzzle that I don't think Nikon is going to tell us anytime soon. Nikon has a tendency or habit of making something and never follow it through. So they have created a norm for these retro styling cameras, just like the DF. Remember the old DSLR, the DF?
Yeah.
It was a magnificent camera.
I still look at that on a used market now.
Yeah,
but it's still too expensive.
Yeah, but it's a magnificent camera. It's got a D3 sensor and the AF, so technically it's a very high-end camera. But they created it and they never followed it through. They never bother continuing with it, and they're just like a one-off. And I can kind of see that the ZFC and the ZF is kind of following that footstep at the moment. I can't see them making a ZF2 or ZFC2. I don't know. I might be wrong, but ZFC has been 4 years old now, coming up, and the ZF is 2 years old, and there's nothing going on. They haven't released any more new retro styling lenses. They only had two, the 28 and the 40, and that's it.
How much longer are Nikon going to keep that 20 megapixel APS-C sensor going? That goes right back to the D7500.
Yeah.
And that is, how many years ago is that now? It's had a longer run than the MFT 20 megapixel sensor, I think.
Yeah.
Very similar. Very similar.
But the ZFC is good value for money, though. I mean, I think it's great for beginners and great for just casually carrying around. But don't expect too much from it. That's all I can say.
And I think as well, what you'll miss going to APS-C is the IBIS. With MFT, you kind of get used to it, you take it for granted. Then when you go to a camera that doesn't have IBIS of that standard, it catches you out. And you have to adapt. It's different experience, really, both for video and for stills. Not having that IBIS.
The ZFC, if you try it in the shop, you know what I mean. It's aiming squarely on beginner, because it's very limiting in many points. It does have hybrid AF, has face detect AF, and so it's pretty quick, and tracking is okay, but there's not enough AF points, and the menu is very simplified, so it's not as detailed and in depth as the higher end cameras. Got no IBIS. Rod already said it, and the worst thing, to me anyway, is the limitation on shutter speed. Both mechanical and electronics is topped out at 1/4000th of a second. And you heard that right, 1/4000th of a second. So it's very limiting in this day and age.
Years ago, we would never have imagined such a speed was possible. A 4,000th of a second? No, can't be done.
Yeah, 1,000 is already really quick, right? Lightning speed. Yeah, but these days, most digital cameras can shoot mechanical 1/8000. Electronic can go up to, 1/50,000th of a second? Like, really ridiculous number. So if you compare to that, the ZFC is definitely feels very ancient. So
yeah, but it's not much money. You've got to make allowances, haven't you?
No. Yeah.
I just to briefly change the subject. We talked about resolution in the past.
Yes.
And how much you need.
Yeah.
I thought I should actually shut up and do something about it. So I took one of the shots I captured on my last tour with my OM52. And I had a 50 by 40 centimeter print made. So that's roughly 20 by 16 inches in old money. Wow. So I had that done. It's a slightly squarer format, so I lost a bit at the edges. So I'm not using all the 20 megapixels. And also, it had to allow a bit of a rebate for the mount that it goes behind. So it's probably closer to about 16 and 17 megapixels worth. But I figured out once I put it up on a wall, and I thought, will I be able to see where the resolution runs out? And I reckon I had to be about 5 or 6 inches away before I could start to see where the resolution of the camera was starting to kind of soften up. I think if you're going to make prints that big, you have no problem at all with that sensor size and that resolution, unless the people who come to your house are going to put their reading glasses on and go right up and do that. Which they might.
They might. Yes.
But on that basis, I So that is a larger size than you can do on any home
Yeah.
printer, even a
Yeah.
large format one. I had
Yeah.
to order that from a lab, but I'd quite happily go up to twice that size because look,
Yeah.
you make a print big, so you can
Yep.
look at it from further away.
Yes. Yes.
And you had to get
Exactly.
ridiculously close to this one to start to
Yep.
see where the resolution is starting to go. So
Absolutely. I think that hits the point very well. But we try to say that every single time is about the viewing distance. The bigger you print, the further
yeah,
away you're gonna look at it, not close up.
yeah.
Unless you're playing a game like Spot West Wally, right? Then you're gonna try to find it, and then that's different, right? That's different. And in most
Yeah.
cases, the bigger the print, the further away you will stand and look at the picture. And in my case, I've been using Micro Four Third cameras for weddings back in the days, and I print large albums, and they look absolutely tack sharp, even with a 10 by 14, 15 by 16. They
Yeah.
look absolutely fine without even looking close up. Is totally fine. So a lot of people always say, oh, you need more resolution just to print big. But how big are you thinking to print?
So,
If you think that 10 by 14, 15 by 16 is not big enough, how big do you really want to print?
So this side sword screen has a technical question there, but I'll be printing at 300 DPI. No, when I print, I let the printer do the scaling, so I don't upscale myself. You could use their upscaling. So essentially, the lab I chose would have printed at the size I requested without doing any upscaling of its own. I would say it probably worked out about 250 DPI. So I would say tentatively that at 300 DPI, the resolution of the printer and your image are probably about the same.
Yeah.
I just went slightly lower than that, so you can start to see where the detail starts to go if you get close enough.
Yeah.
If I'd wanted to print that image larger, I think if I'd gone to maybe a print size of 100 by 80, which is huge, then it would have been down to about 150 DPI. And if you got quite close, you would see where the resolution was starting to go. But you wouldn't get that close. In fact, when you've got a print that big, your natural tendency is to stand a bit further back so that you can look at it properly.
So
So
you can see the whole picture, not just a section of it.
Yeah. So I think you can equate you can kind of equate megapixels to DPI. Obviously, the DPI will change if you have the same number of megapixels and you print bigger, it will be at a lower DPI. I think that is not a critical measurement. I think it's a personal one, and I think it does depend on viewing distance. I think 300 DPI is an unnecessarily high standard myself.
Right.
And I think myself, if you do want to be able to inspect a larger print than that from a close distance, you will have to go to a higher resolution camera. But my contention is that it is not normal behavior to do that, and that's not normally why you make a big print.
No. So very hopefully that answers your question, but I think we should do actually this in a bit more detailed chat. And but I don't know how many of you are interested in printing, and how many of you are really want to learn a bit about resolution, for instance, because it's a very topic that many misunderstood and many still don't understand. And but we can have it down to the marketing people again.
What size approximately would you say that was? That
I can't quite see from my end.
Sorry, no, I'm not holding it on the camera. It's this print here. It looks like about 20 by 12 or something like that.
I think it's smaller than that. I think 10. It looks like 10 by 14. This one.
It's much bigger than. It's bigger than that. I don't know. I'd have to measure it.
Is it? I can't quite see it.
But basically, this was. I'm trying to get it to fit on the camera. Now the dog's trying to help me. That's a big. Thank you.
Because you looked at her.
So if I put it here, that is quite a big print.
Yes.
I know. You think so, don't you? Thank you. But the thing is, that was a 16 megapixel camera, and I can't really tell from looking at it, even from this distance.
Yeah, yeah,
It's fine. It's a big print, so I can see it from
yeah,
further away. So I
yeah,
think the actual print resolution of that is probably going to be something like 200, 200 pixels per inch, no
yeah,
more than that. But it's
yeah,
fine because I'm not
yeah.
going to look at it up close.
No. Yeah, so there you go. Hopefully that's the answers. And Linda said, I would argue that OM5 aren't exactly a new camera either.
Um, I don't quite agree. It's not new technically, but does it have to be? Does it have to be? Does every camera have to have technology less than a year old? Is that what
Well,
we're saying now?
actually, I mean, if I bring a very simple example, many cameras, all I'm talking about all brands, any brands you name it, apart from the flagship cameras, they are usually old tech. So like the flagship is the one that gives you the new sensor, new processor or whatnot, right? The second, third tier cameras are usually based on 2, 3, maybe even 4-year-old cameras down the line. So if you think about that, I think the OM5 is pretty new because it's based on the EM1 Mark III, which was the OM5 was based on the same cameras. Yes, I agree that. And then so was the EM5 Mark III too. But I think the generations between these three cameras, the EM5 III, OM5, and OM5 Mark II, the closest is actually between the EM5 Mark III and the OM5 Mark I. These were the closest cameras between the two, and technically they just changed the branding. That's how I feel about it. But the OM5 Mark II did give you some updates, and for instance, got a new CP button, new menu, USB-C charging. There are a couple of new new live ND features that weren't available in the OM5 or original OM5. So there are something new in the cameras, and even though the gut is still fairly much based on the older camera.
How did we get to the point though, where we can only take a camera seriously if it's got new stuff? That doesn't seem, it's, if you look at it that way, have we kind of lost our grip somehow? That it has to be new before we can take it seriously.
I just saw.
What have I done? What have I said?
No. I've just saw some comment about the beige camera, and I have to bring it up.
Yeah,
there you go. That's
yeah.
my beige OM5. Or sandy color, sandy beige, sand.
It's not beige. It's not beige. They call it sand, don't they?
I got the silver and the beige here, and the silver is the
look,
Mark 1 and the sand is the Mark 2.
But look, if my beach had sand that color, they'd close it. That is a straight color.
Oh dear. Right, okay. Let's move on. So let's quickly look at Rod's interesting found and the AI regenerative AI recovery. So I would say recovery feature.
So right, okay. I'm in the middle of a batch of software reviews at the moment.
Yep.
I've just finished. Okay, you go straight to it. Right, go to the original one.
All right, I'll go for the regional. There we go.
Yeah. That's one of my own prints. So this is not a marketing department print for before and after comparisons. It's a real one. And this is on one photo raw 20 on one photo raw max 2026.4.
Yeah.
So it's the more expensive version of on one photo raw, and it's got this restore AI feature for taking your old photos and kind of taking out all the blemishes, sharpening them up, enhancing faces, and hand colouring them. And I've used these things before, but I think this one is pretty remarkable. Not everything in on one photo raw is remarkable, but this one is. And I don't know whether you can zoom in at all to do before and afters zoomed in.
I'll see if I can zoom in for this one. If I
think
click
you
in.
can in
I
preview.
can. Yeah. Okay, let's do that. And I do the same thing for the other one as well.
Yeah.
Dum.
So basically, some of the faces are slightly over enhanced, but you can dial that back. But what really struck me is that the creases are gone, the spots are gone, all without any user input. It's been upsized from about 4 megapixel scan to its 4K UHD resolution, and it's been quite sympathetically hand colored, and it is impressive. And this was a couple of days after using the equivalent version in Adobe Photoshop Elements 2026, which is...
Do they have that feature as well in Element? Do they have the same features?
In principle, they're the same. In practice, they're not. So in Elements, it's just not even in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
To be fair, which is it's one reason I'm not very fond of Elements. But yeah, it does a remarkable job of imagining what the details and textures would have been, because they're not in the original.
Yeah.
But you know, all the creases and folds and shading, they're really remarkably good. If the original is particularly blurred, sometimes it reimagines people's faces in a way where you can't quite recognize them.
Like the one at the end.
Yeah.
I'm just going to bring that up now. Like the one in the end.
Yeah. The lady at the end, yeah.
So I'm going to go back to...
And in the original, no teeth. So it does like to put teeth in. I don't know why. But in the software, while you're working on the restored version, every face has a rectangle around it with a slider underneath, and you can just wind back the enhancements so you can get closer to the original face.
Yeah.
So it's I would suggest, if anyone's got a bunch of old photos they'd like to try and enhance, you can get, I think it's a 30-day trial, or it might be 14-day trial, which I think is unrestricted, on One Photo Raw Max, that is. Just try it. See what you think. That,
you know, I can see another thing as well, apart from the smile, and then the lady second from the left has got extra wrinkles. I'm pretty sure she wouldn't have any, judging by the age of the rest of the girls down there.
Oh, you're a hard man to please, Jim. You're a hard man to please.
Just look at the extra wrinkle by the eye level.
I agree with the flaws.
Yes.
But I think the flaws are quite modest compared to what it does, which is it kind of brings people who are long gone back to life.
Yes.
It's a very strange thing.
Yes. But everyone's noticing the thumb.
And not everybody's thumbs. You know, most of them still got thumbs. But you know, I think even on one would acknowledge that it's a work in progress. But I've not seen an AI restoration of this standard before.
No, and what Rod was saying to me earlier was that this is a one-click option, so like it's actually very, very straightforward and easy to use.
Yeah.
And to be quite frank, you know, like it looks great. It looks great, and how much AI has improved in a matter of the last couple of years. It's just crazy.
I think this is cloud-based AI. I think this is off-device AI, but you know, it probably requires a lot of processing.
Yeah.
And I think as well, I've got other pictures where you can't see people's thumbs, so you know, you should be all right with that.
Yeah.
No, but I think it is impressive. The reason I mentioned it to Jimmy was this is the first time I've used AI.
Yep.
Which I think is controversial, a force for good. It's done something worthwhile, not just made stuff up.
No, the thing is, you know, like I like the idea of generative AI if you use it right. You use it to restore details, and I think generative AI is really, really good for that. What I don't like about generative AI is when you're creating something completely new. And that's what I'm not too sure about. But in this particular case, like for restorations, for enhancing and low resolution image, I'm up for that, because there are old photographs of myself when I was little, or my dad, or my mum, or my grandparents, and things like that. You know, if you really want to relive those moments in a clearer details, and now you have a chance to do that by just using AI to enhance it. In some cases, like your one in particular, you know, this is looking like a scanned print, so you got creases on the photograph.
It wasn't
and that's
a very
been
good print either.
Yeah, so it's been restored as well. So I think in this particular case, generative AI really stands out and works in this particular sense. Yes, Yeah, so I like the idea of it, and the only thing, of course, I have a little bit of reserve is how much energy it has consumed to do this, and from an ethical point of view, and because it's cloud based, right? It's cloud based. You have to send it up to the data center, they render it out, do all the AI calculations, and then send it back to you.
Also, I think at the moment, On One is not said anything about credits, AI credits.
Yeah.
But if everyone starts doing this, that might have to happen.
Yeah. And I just saw Angelo Playful One has an interesting point here, which I would like to bring up, because on the news I saw a story about marketing agency created female models on Instagram, used them to promote their product, and there are many followers of this AI. Well, I forgot whether Angelo for one are you in the UK? And because H&M has already announced that they are going to use AI for their catalogs, and so they already declared that they're going to use it. They're very open about it. So they will still use a real model at first, but they will scan their faces, and subsequently, and all their the different seasons, different fashion, for instance, and all those images will not be taken professionally by a photographer, but instead they're going to use AI to generate them. So it is already happening, and it's scary to say the least. But more importantly, all I can see that is professional models and professional fashion photographers will be suffering because of that. It's going to be a big debate at the moment about all this happening. Big companies, whether they want to save costs or not, and it's definitely have a chain effect affecting professional like myself and in certain extents, and so it is happening, unfortunately. So AI is having some negative impact in the professional commercial photography world.
Well, also the acting world. Does anyone follow Tilly Norwood?
Oh.
who's an AI generated person? No, but Google it. Actress Tilly Norwood.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just can't help but laugh. And John had this. I think thumbs are overrated. Let's talk about referring to your earlier photos.
because you get people keep stopping in their cars and asking where you want to go.
Oh dear. Oh, right. Okay. And let's wrap it up in the next couple of minutes. And so it's interesting technology. I think that I'm going to have a look at the AI thing. I think I would like to chuck some old photograph of my grandparents to see how well a job is doing, to see exactly whether it's convincing or not.
It's a curious thing, even where it's not quite convincing.
Yeah.
It somehow. It's hard to say this without sounding sentimental, but it somehow brings them back. It brings them back into the present. Because when you've got an old black and white photo that's faded and scratched, it's definitely from another time. When it's restored in this way, you start to feel as if, these people are closer than they were. Yeah. It's a strange thing.
It is. It's a strange thing. And this side too was going to say AI, Jimmy and Rod. Just wait and see. Would you guys still watch us if we're going to have an AI version of us talking?
I think people might feel that it would be superior.
I think so.
No, Angelo Playful One says he feels the issues that many followers think that this female influencers are real persons. True. I think an even greater danger is that people start preferring AI created people to real people, because AI people are much more understanding. They listen. They're more considerate. They don't yell at you. So they would never ever get around at you. So and they always look perfect. They always look perfect. So people will start to prefer an artificial partner to a human. Or an artificial companion.
That's going to be hot.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's wrap up, and let's go back to the very beginning of our today's chat, and on the Michael Forthert side. I think that's really kind of my happiest part, and because I'm a big MFT user, I'm always been living in a format, as many of you know, even though I use APS-C and full frame. So it is good to see things are happening, and things are happening fast in the photography world. The new lens that came out from SG Imaging is an example that companies are paying attention. You know what? If SG Imaging hasn't noticed the trend of MFT, or at least noticing the format, they would not have made this lens, because they're already making full frame and NEPSD versions of the lenses. So they have no reason to make an MFT. They know MFT, in a traditional sense, won't sell as much as many as the full frame equivalent. So why would they bother making MFT lens? They must have seen something. And I think all these previous news that's been generating over the last 6-7 months, the new companies, the new Micro Four Thirds alliance, the in-roll of OM3, OM5 Mark II, the retro thing, and the L10, all of these news accumulatively has a positive impact in the Micro Four Thirds world and the platform. So I do think that more things gonna come, and especially the day when the Chinese company launched their very first Micro Four Thirds camera is gonna make a big buzz out of it. Good or bad remain to be seen, but if it does make it, it's the very first a proper Micro Four Thirds camera being made by Chinese, and that I'm pretty sure is not going to be the last one. So that's going to be an interesting thing to wait and see. And if they bring it down to a price point that is literally a point and shoot camera kind of price in the West, you never know. That might sell quite well in over here in the UK and maybe even the US as well, if they can kind of have that like $300-400 points, and that could be something, something to be looking forward to. Yeah. And coupled with $150 lens, and you have the whole kit for like $500.
As long as it's not like Kodak's point and shoots.
No. Like well, speaking of which, though,
5-year-old prices.
Speaking of which, Kodak point and shoot camera has come back. They make the top 10 sales list.
I know. It's just the world we live in is beyond comprehension.
No, it's not. But then, but you can look at the bright side. If the world suddenly believe that Micro Four Thirds is the greatest platform of all time, and then we could see a huge resurgence of this platform, and you never know.
If OM or Lumix decided overnight to abandon MFT, then prices would go through the roof. So it's whether you think that's a good or a bad thing.
Well,
I mean, if that did happen,
yeah. But I think out of all of them, I think that you might be right at the beginning when you said that Lumix may one day abandon and disappear from Micro Four Thirds, and OM will probably be the only one left from the founding alliance member. Let's hope not the case. And I do believe that OM is here for the long haul, and they already making adjustments and changes. And as of 2026, they are no longer just focusing on wildlife and close-up macros. They really expanding into travel and street photography. Yeah. You're really starting to see that they are now, so now they're coming back with expanding to different type of genre, no longer focusing on just one type of things, which is a good thing to see, because we've been all saying this for a long time. They should really expand out of those areas. So they're doing that now. They're listening, and I do hope Lumix will do something. I don't know what they're going to do, but will do something in the Micro Four Thirds world.
It's why I can never speak to anyone on the Olympus and OM stands, Jimmy, so it's surrounded by bird watchers. I could never get close.
They'll be standing at the back of the hall.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and so let's hope that's the way to see in the future, and I do hope in the next couple of years it's going to be a big couple of years for Micro Four Thirds, and see more new lenses from third parties, see new bodies from third party. And I'm not saying I will abandon OM and Lumix. No, not by far margin. I mean, in fact, I'm just excited to see new thing coming up from other people.
I think probably the best thing we can do as well is start a new movement, saying, buy this old Lumix GX8 while you can, because there won't be another. And that'll frighten enough people, and market and prices will go through the roof. And Panasonic will see this and say, "Oh my gosh, we better start making that again. Just make it bigger."
Oh no! Don't do that! Don't do that!
I just came out.
Yeah, they need. Well, one thing I do hope. Last thing before we go is that I do hope whether it's going to be OM, whether it's going to be Lumix, whether it's going to be the Chinese. Can you just make some small Micro Four Thirds cameras, please? Just make some small things, just to showcase what the essence of Micro Four Thirds as a format is: portabilities, the small size of it.
Actually, exploit its strengths, and not try to hide its weaknesses, but exploit its strengths.
Yes, just go ahead and do something small. I think that's what I would like to see. Yes. Right. Okay, guys. And thank you very much for tuning in. And it's been a pleasure, again, talking to you guys. Next week, we're going to have other topics, of course, and see what's happening around the world. Please do leave some comment down below after listening to the whole entire podcast today. Your comments on the new MFT lens, the SG Imaging 25 1.8, the Micro Four Thirds market in general, and also those legal court cases between ViewTalks and Nikon, and also DJI and Insta360. And of course, please do comment on Rod's AI imaging to see.
Well, just try it for yourselves.
Yes, try for yourself.
It's a free trial version. You don't have to sign up for a subscription to download it. You just have to submit your email address, so you will get some emails. But it's a free trial. Try it. See what you think. I'd be interested to hear.
Yeah. Just forget about the thumb issues.
Everyone's a critic.
Give us a thumbs up. That's all we want to see.
Stop it. Right, we're not talking about this anymore.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. I'll see you all very soon.
All right.
Bye for now. Cheers.
Bye-bye.